Welcome to the Sports Wrap podcast. My name is Mitchell Lee. I'm here with Travis Stanley and Brandon too today. Guys, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Brandon, how are you?
It's a fantastic day for me. UNC Lacrosse just got a win in men's lacrosse. We'll talk about that later. But
yeah, we were driving over here. You were stressing hard about that game.
Oh, it went to overtime.
Get a big win against Maryland.
I don't know, man. It went to overtime. I was kind of scared. Unseeded North Carolina against number 1 Maryland, but they pulled it out.
Terrific run just in the tournament by North Carolina.
And women's lacrosse beat Maryland as well. So that's kind of a coincidence. I
reminded me of when UConn would get the men's and women's basketball tournament. I mean, they win the women's every year. But all right, speaking of basketball, we have a good one tonight. Oklahoma City versus Golden State, Game 7. Winner plays the Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA Finals. What do you guys see happening? Who do you think is important? Let's start with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and what do you think they need to do to win this game?
Well, Brandon, I don't know how you feel about this, but I thought, and I think myself and Mitchell also kind of thought this, was after they went down 3-1, I wouldn't say writing them off would be what I did, but I just really didn't think that they were going to force Game 7. Well, I mean, did you? Because
I think for me, I didn't think they were going to lose Game 5, but I thought Game 6 was going to be the game that they lost, but they're the champions, and they're a 73-win team, so I really didn't count them out. I had it more 50-50 going into that game more than I had the Warriors winning at the end of this. At the beginning of this series, I had the Warriors winning in like 5 or 6. I thought they were going to easily take care of OKC.
Did you guys see the Golden State's owners' reaction to Klay Thompson coming back into the locker room after that game?
Kind of bowing down.
He was just bowing down, all hell.
He was basically a god. Game 6, he couldn't miss.
Reggie Miller-esque.
Reggie Miller-esque, yeah.
You can't say that he wasn't. I mean, yeah, he played absolutely terrific, but I think keys to this game would be for OKC limiting Klay and Steph, to some degree. I mean, that's a hard task to do. Generally, all that teams have been able to do most of this season is their best defense against them would be them just not having a good shooting night.
Here's the thing about Oklahoma City versus Golden State. They didn't start out hot. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, they didn't start out hot early in the series, and that's why they were losing. Game 6, Klay couldn't miss, and then Steph, it was contagious because Steph started making those threes late in the fourth quarter too. I think that spells big trouble for Golden State, or for Oklahoma City in Game 7, because if Steph and Klay aren't making those threes, I mean, that's kind of the bread and butter of their offense right there.
Well, Steph looked healthier, I guess, in Game 6. He looked healthier than he has been this entire series, and he was making shots that he wasn't making earlier in the series. He wasn't even making, like, finger roll layups. He was missing those because he couldn't get off the floor. But Game 6, he looked very, very good in terms of health-wise. His shot wasn't going down at all times during the game, but Klay Thompson came in and shot really well, and Steph knew when to facilitate to him, and I think that's what makes Steph such a good teammate and such a good player and an MVP type of player, is he's able to facilitate to other guys when he realizes his shot isn't entirely there and his shot isn't missing most nights. So
for those same reasons, that's why I still think that LeBron James is probably still the best player in the league, is because I feel like he is the best facilitator in that way in the league. But I totally agree. I mean, he did do a better job, Curry did, of looking, for other people, and then his shot eventually started falling. Curry and Thompson as a combo is about as good of a 1-2 punch really in the league that there is. But I still probably think that the Durant-Westbrook 1-2 punch
phenomenal.
It's top 5 player.
Two top five players. Yeah, I agree with that.
Exactly. So if I was, putting money on this game, I probably lay it on OKC just because.
Really?
It's at home. That's the only thing. That's the
I
only
mean,
thing.
yes, it
that's
is.
my only.
It's in Golden State, but
is that Golden State's only lost 3 games? At home
I really feel like OKC is gonna come out, really ready to play, and they might get the win. But I think also I find myself not realizing it, but rooting against Golden State just because of how good of a season they have.
I have a comment for this because I recognize this as like a country. We root against people who win all the time.
Yeah, underdogs. I think it's more rooting for the underdogs because, I mean, The only reason
Well,
why
there's a reason people don't like Duke Mitchell.
There's the only reason. Well, I love Duke, but the only reason the only reason I root against Tom Brady is because he has done so much bad to the New York Jets over the years.
Yeah.
It's not because he wins a lot, because Peyton Manning won a lot, and I love to root for Peyton Manning. So I don't know so much about that, but because we give Steph, we were talking about this the other day. We give Steph Curry and them a bit of a pass for being cocky, whereas opposed to like Cam Newton with the Panthers.
Oh yeah,
we,
but it's the
we're
exact
on
same
him
thing.
with that.
It's the exact same thing.
Yeah,
and I like it. I love it. I love the way
Makes it interesting.
Draymond Green acts. I love the way Klay Thompson acts.
He's a big one for tonight's game too.
I think Draymond
Green.
is the most important player in terms of getting the type of intensity and type of energy Golden State needs, because Golden State feeds off of his energy.
I think Kevin Durant's the most important player in this game tonight. If Kevin Durant has one of those games, I'll put it at 30. If he scores 30 or more tonight, they win. If he is 29 or under, I think they lose. I think they need a big game out of, because Russell Westbrook's going to bring it. I can't imagine Russell Westbrook going 12 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists tonight. He's going to have a great game.
I think just that team, and particularly those two players, their development has really been very interesting, because when they first got together and started playing really well, you definitely would say that Durant, more times than not, would be the more dependable player that you think, you're going to get, 30 out of him, and he is going to be kind of the guy that you're going to lean on. But in some of the games that they've won throughout these playoffs, and particularly in this series, Durant's had really marginal games and, shot really poorly. If not maybe for going to the line, he would have been kind of a non-factor.
Taking a lot of shots that he doesn't need to take, a lot of contested shots late in games. It'll be interesting to see whether he can pass up those shots. We were talking about that the other night.
Yeah, for me, both of them really do kind of force action when they feel they need to, and I
feel like Russ can do that better, though.
Yeah, I think Russ can make shots or force shots that you don't think he would make, like a layup that he drives to the basket, and you're like, how in the heck did he get that ball off his hand? Those type of plays. But for Durant, we were talking about this. He needs to learn that when he doesn't have it going, he needs to facilitate like LeBron does. If Kevin Durant ever got that instinct in him, he would be just as good as Kevin Durant, because he's a better scorer than LeBron James is. And so Kevin Durant would be one of the most valuable players in the league if he would ever get that facilitating type of thing about him. But I don't think he's that type of guy. I think he's a killer instinct type of Kobe-esque player.
That's a good description, I think.
Yeah, scorer definitely first and foremost, for Durant. You don't see that out of him a lot, like you said. And when you do see it, or at least I think to myself, man, if he like whipped balls like that to the corner, every single night, his whole game and OKC
they look so much better when both of those guys are facilitating the basketball. When Russell's getting 15 assists a night, OKC looks so much more better than when he scores 35 points.
All right, guys, Golden State wins the game if
Draymond Green plays the way Draymond Green can play. If Draymond Green becomes that third option for Golden State, you need a third option. And so they need someone to step up, whether it's Draymond Green or Iguodala, but I think it's going to be Draymond Green. I think the heart and soul of that team will show up tonight.
Yeah, I think Golden State wins this game if Curry and Thompson, just continue on that upward, ascent that they were with how they were playing recently, because I definitely think Draymond Green is a very important cog in that team. But really, if just two of their big three,
they shoot lights out.
Yeah, well, really, if just two of their big three are mostly on,
prime and ready to go.
Yeah, because they're what they have behind them in their second. And their second group is best in the league, in my opinion. So
I mean,
really?
Livingston's one of the best backup point guards.
I think
they're
best.
Underrated. I mean, certainly with Iguodala, I like Spates a lot. I think he's.
I like Harrison.
Azili is one of those guys where he gets on the court and they start fouling him right away.
Yeah, Harrison's one of those. I like Harrison, and you're right with Festus. You can't keep him on the court because he can't make free throws. But for me, Harrison's also a key. If Harrison Barnes knocks down open jumpers and knocks down the jumpers that he will get because of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, then I think that elevates Golden State to another level. And that's why they won 73 games this year, because they're able to elevate themselves to that type of level. They have other guys who are capable of scoring.
And Harrison Barnes is a guy who, take him away from Golden State, he could probably be, I'm not going to say the number one option,
second guy.
but
Strong
he could be a
second
strong
option.
two, second option somewhere.
I see him like DeMar DeRozan. He's almost a DeMar DeRozan type
DeRozan's
player.
a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
I
He
think
can be a
DeRozan
one,
gets to the basket more than Harrison does. But
DeRozan has
Harrison
been in the league longer, so
has
it'll be
that
interesting to
type of-
see.
that
Yeah.
type of he's gonna get paid is what I'm
Oh,
is
yeah.
what I'm
Oh,
saying.
yeah.
He's gonna get paid to play somewhere, whether it's Golden State or somewhere else.
Come to Charlotte.
I think
I
Golden
wouldn't
State
mind
wins
that.
this game if Stephen Clay combine for 12 3-pointers tonight. I think
If they
12 is,
combine for 12.
if they combine for
Not
12.
24.
I don't think they're going to need to do anything too crazy. As long as I think they get that 12 number, because
Yeah.
how many was Steph hitting in games 3 and 4?
What was
Not
so
much.
Not
what was
many.
so crazy was it was 21 threes for Golden State and only 3 for OKC. Ibaka wasn't hitting, Kevin wasn't hitting, Russell Westbrook, I only saw him knock down 1 3 the entire game. So that's such a huge disparity. I think that was the largest disparity in an NBA playoff game was 18 threes.
Yeah, which now, anytime that I see Russell Westbrook hitting threes consistently, I kind of consider that fool's gold. I mean, he's a very good player, and he certainly can
He's
shoot. I mean,
capable of
he's an
shooting.
NBA, top 5 guy. Some people think so.
But
you have-
Russ's game is getting to the basket.
exactly. So if he's not full steam ahead going to the basket and relying more from distance, I definitely think that's the wrong direction for OKC to go in to win this game and really just to have success. Period.
Yeah, Russ definitely can shoot, but I see him more as like if Derrick Rose never got hurt, where he's just constantly attacking
Yeah.
the basket and dishing out assists. That's what I
And
see
he
it as.
plays
If Derrick
at
Rose
such a
never got
fast
hurt.
pace. He plays at the same exact pace Derrick Rose does. His body just hasn't broken down the way Rose's did. They play at the exact same pace, and that's a good comparison. They both attack the basket with the same ferocity, the same intensity.
The game moves slower for Westbrook, but he's moving faster than everyone
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
He
And I
slows
think
it down.
that Oklahoma City wins this game. Like I said, Durant's going to need a big game tonight, but they're also going to need good inside contributions from Cantor and Adams. I don't think Cantor has had the best of series so far, and Adams, he's a tough inside force when he's not leaving the game in the first quarter, which I think he's done like 4 out of the 6 games so far in the series. So they definitely need him on the court. What do you guys think needs to happen for the Thunder to win this game?
I'm gonna start this by I think they need Kevin and Russell to be Kevin and Russell, and then they just need a third guy to get 15 points.
Dion Waiters.
Yeah, they just
Dion
need
Waiters
Waiters
needs that
or
15,
somebody,
10.
and they need someone to match Draymond Green's toughness. They need Steven Adams to match his toughness, and he has been matching his toughness the entire series. I said this a while ago to you, Mitchell. Those 2 guys are the 2 guys that, like, if I was going into a bar and was about to get into a bar fight, I would want Steven Adams or Draymond Green on my team. Like, I would want those guys
Steven
with
Adams'
me in a bar
facial
fight.
hair would just intimidate.
Yeah, I would want
Alone,
those guys
yeah.
in a bar fight because they're so tough and they don't back down from anybody. So, to me, it's those 2 guys. It's Waiters and Adams need to play well for OKC to really elevate their chances to win this game.
Yeah, I would agree with you that they need definitely, a third guy to step up and have a pretty big game. Whether that's I like Roberson personally, but he's a
Ooh.
guy who can't get his own. He has to have some help.
But they don't
So-
guard him as tightly as everyone. Obviously, they don't guard him as tightly as Westbrook and Durant.
yeah,
so he has a lot
they
of open
back
shots.
off.
Yeah, and that's why I think that
You
he
think he needs to
can-
knock it down? Yeah.
Yeah, so he can be that guy if he were just making sure he hit. But they definitely, I feel like, underutilized him in a few games this playoffs in this series. But there also have been times where, like, he'll be open in the corner, but that's not necessarily his
shot.
strongest point.
Yeah.
Whereas they started running, a few brush screens or whatever for him on the baseline.
Yeah.
And he's wide open because
Which
the
I-
other person running off that screen would be Kevin Durant or Russell Westbrook.
Yeah,
So I
right.
mean, you're not going to cover Robertson as well.